Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. A shout out to drone enthusiasts everywhere, and as always, a shout out to all my friends at the Drone Seekers. Hey, got the Mavic Mini again today, and I promise you this isn't going to be a big long video like the one I did out at the Snake River the other day. I'm out at Settlers Park in Meridian, Idaho. Thought I'd just try just a little different location, and maybe we'd talk about some of the things going on with the Mini. But anyway, I'm not going to mess around. We'll get the bird in the air here, and we'll take a look at Settlers Park here and talk about some of the stuff going on with the little Mini, a little pretty cool piece of technology. Okay, so I've got the little Mavic Mini fired up and ready to go. Got the controller fired up and ready to go. Got the iPhone connected. So we are going to film in 2.7K 30 frames per second video. Let's go in here and check a couple things real quick. If I can, there we go. So again, it automatically changes the return to home attitude to 15 meters. I like it set about 45. So you're going to have to look at that every time. So this stuff should be part of your pre-flight check. Evidently, I'm hoping that that's something that DJI will update in a future firmware. You shouldn't have to reset that every time. Like I said, I like setting it real high. I want to make sure that it's going to clear everything around me. So then the other thing is I want to look at the camera and format the SD card. So I see we have DeMarco Morris let me know about the DJI sale. Thank you, DeMarco. You know, I put this thing in night mode, but I still get those notifications on the screen. So the only thing I've figured out how to do with the iPhone is you have to go into each application and turn off notifications for it. There's no blanket way to turn them all off. If anybody knows how to do that, I would appreciate knowing how to set that up. But anyway, let's format the card here real quick. So we are formatting the SD card now, and we want to confirm. And what you need to remember is that's going to erase everything on your card. So when you do that, you just want to keep that in mind. Gosh, so that, I think, is about the only thing we need to check. You know, we're in auto mode on transmission. Yeah, one more look at safety. I think we're good to go. I'm going to start video here real quick. Video has begun, and I see no reason why we can't take off. And we're going to look around Settlers Park here a little bit in Meridian, Idaho. There again, you just, as soon as you hit the takeoff, you just hold your finger on it. It circles. And there's the little Mini. So, you know, it just goes up a few feet off the ground. Yeah, 100 feet. Yeah, so it's giving me a notification of the 150 meter flight restriction. So I need to explain that. So we are way more than, we're probably 10 miles from Gowan Field here, but it's part of their flyway, so I'm sure that's what that's all about. And by the way, I'll show it on screen here. I did look at the Before You Fly app, and it states that we're good to go. So I'll show that on screen. But anyway, let's yaw around here. Like we got the city of Meridian, some of the workers here looking around a little bit. So I think what we ought to do is do our usual reverse and up, or manual droning. So reverse and up, and we're gonna have to go up a little faster because there's some trees and ball fields here, as you'll see. Drop that gimbal just a little bit, and that of course changes the exposure value there, so we can get a good look here. So you can see all these ball fields here. Let's do it. Let's just do a quick yaw around, or a slow yaw, I should say. Lots of ball fields. They have some just freaking amazing softball tournaments here. And then as you can see, we're pretty close to some neighborhoods and walking trails. You know, I suppose that's one of the reasons that Meridian is such a popular place, is that that we have these kind of facilities available to us. I have to say the city is doing a great job of creating these kind of situations, these kind of parks. I mean, you can see there's tennis courts over there, and we'll go fly around and look at all that stuff. So, and there we are. I'm standing right next to the American flag. Proud to do that. So so let's back up just a little bit more, gain a little more altitude, and we're in P mode. And I'm going to stop right there because I do not want to have the drone over the top of the street or any of those neighborhoods back there. But let's just kind of do a tour of the park here to start with. Got a nice open area here and a nice walking trail that kind of goes around the perimeter of the park. I live probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles away from this park. So we're at about 45 meters high, which is my return to home height. Then there is a plane above us. And he is way higher than we are. Sounded kind of loud because he flew right over the top of us, but he is way, way higher than us. And this little pond right here is kind of cool. This is typical of what the city of Meridian does, and I showed you a similar one at Heroes Park. They actually stock these ponds with fish, and kids can come out here and fish. And I just think that's such an awesome thing to do for kids. So let's yaw around here a little bit more. So you have a parking area, a big parking area here, and man, I've seen this thing packed before. And then that's right here is kind of a big play area and picnic. I suppose you could picnic out there. But a huge, huge play area for kids. I apologize, I still have a little bit of a frog in my throat from having a cold. So I think I want to try something right here. Let's see if we can do an orbit. Let's set something, maybe that tree in the middle of the courtyard there. So I'm going to stop recording. And I'm going to go in to QuickShots. And I'm going to do circle. And yeah, so let's see if we can find a target here. And pardon me, there's a lawnmower going by there, and another. Sounds to me like we got the whole city of Meridian Parks Department out here today. Yeah, so it looks like we got it. So I'm going to go ahead and start that orbit. You can see it's doing the countdown. And I don't know if you can speed that orbit up or not, but it's definitely doing it here. So it looks like it's really closing in. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So that, did I put it on helix or something? So what I was thinking it would do would be to orbit around that whole position, and it looked like it went right over the top of it. So that evidently you can set That's just set as a point of interest. Okay, let's try something different here. I am going, well, I'm just trying to figure out how you would just do a regular orbit. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So if anybody, I don't know what I'm misunderstanding here, but normally in a circle, you can set a target and it will circle it at, like it says here, at a constant altitude. But what it did is it went right over the top of it. And I expected it to do an orbit around it. So I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong there, guys. So let's try it again though with a rocket. I mean, heck, what the heck? What do we got to lose, right? So we're going to do that same tree in the middle. Well, hold it. I need to go back and see. We want to set it at the maximum, 40 meters. So we're going to go over that tree. Whoop. And that's got it. So let's see what it does there. That orbit really confused me. What I thought we would end up doing is a big circle around the tree, and what it actually did was went over the top of it. So yeah, that's a mystery. So it appears to be doing the exactly what it's supposed to. Doing the rocket here, going over the top of what we highlighted, and then going straight up. There we go. And so what's kind of cool is it should return to its starting point, and it's doing that now. So it'll tell us when it's returned. But anyway, that's enough of that play structure. That gives you a good idea of what that looks like. And if you look at the black part of that, if you walk on that, it's really soft rubber. So all those little rocks and stuff that kids can climb on, yeah, they can fall off of that, but it's like falling on a mattress or something. That's how soft that rubber is. So let's go back into normal flight mode. So we're going to go into video and start video again. And I'm going to raise the gimbal just a little. And we will go over the top of the tennis courts here. So I think some of these are pickleball courts, right? I think those little ones are pickleball courts, and the other ones are tennis courts. And then, oh yeah, I forgot about horseshoes. Or I think that's what that is, or is that bocce ball? Heck, I don't know, guys. Let's get over the top of it, and we'll drop the camera down. We'll take a look. For all I know, that could be cornhole. Now it looks to me, yeah. So those are definitely horseshoe pits there. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Let's produce some altitude and we'll take a peek at it. How about that? Yeah, those are definitely horseshoe pits. Now that's pretty cool. Well, we'll pick the camera back up. Shows how much I play horseshoes, right? Not. So there is my red Dodge Durango there you see in the parking lot. So we'll move forward from here. And back over the top of the ball fields. Looks like they're doing a little mowing. And I think that's just a little snack bar in the middle there. Maybe they have restrooms at one end. I'll be honest with you, I haven't paid much attention. And there again, you can see there's more development going on there in the background. I love this this grass center section here. And there you're looking at the American flag again, and you can see me there standing next to the flag. And there's another one of those notifications on my screen there. I wish I knew how to get rid of those. Okay, so we're kind of over the top of us. I'm going to see if I can do a helix above us here. We'll turn around. Boy, I'm so impressed with the way this little guy flies. I mean, you know, this thing, when you pick it up, it's so small and light, it feels like a toy drone, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't fly like it. It flies like a DJI drone. That's the best thing I can tell you. Okay, here we are, and let's move back over just a little bit. And we are going to select this for a helix. So we're going to quit recording now. Go into the menu and go into QuickShots, select helix, and we're going to select the big dog there, the 40-meter one, and I'm going to see if it will, yeah, it's got me. So there we go. So we're at 33 meters high. Let's see where it ends at the end. So it should do a circle and expand the circle and increase in altitude as it turns here. And it is. Kind of cool seeing the flag waving in the breeze there. I love that. So now it's about, let's see where it ends at. We're at 50 meters high, 62 meters distance. So we ended about 54 meters high and 68 meters distance, and what it'll do now is it'll return to its starting spot, which I just think is really cool. I wish all the drones in intelligent flight modes did that. So there it is. It's back down looking at us here. So maybe we'll try something else. You know, we've pretty much done them all. Let's you know, just for the fun of it, let's try a circle again. That kind of blew my mind on that last one. So the way it kind of went over the top of what I intended to be the center of the circle. So it's got me there. Let's start and let's see what it does. And I'm going to watch the drone as it goes around. We're at 41% battery. I don't know how long we've been flying here, but it's been a while. Yeah, and in this case, it just seems to be holding that same distance. Maybe it increased a little bit, but pretty much doing a circle around us. And the Old Glory there waving in the breeze. You gotta love that. So it looked to me like it went from a distance of at its closest point 29 meters and at its furthest 34 meters. So evidently it's not a perfect circle over whatever it's looking at. So interesting stuff. So what I'm going to do now is probably talk a little bit about what we had spoken about the other day with regard to sport mode. When I was out at Heroes Park the other day, we had some issues with the power insufficient, aircraft power insufficient warning. So I'm going to go over the open area here. Then we're going to throw it into sport mode. And we're going to give that a try. So I'm going to lower our height here just a little, so that we're going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in sport mode, and we're going to go max ascent and max pitch forward. So we're in sport mode now. So let's see. Oh, let's see. I better get out. I need to get out of this. Get back into regular flight mode. Video. Sorry about that. Glad I noticed that. Okay, so we are in video mode. We're shooting video again. Oh, looks like we got an Amber Alert coming through. Well, you guys will get to see an Amber Alert live on my phone. You know, I thought I saw in the news they got those kids already, but evidently not. Okay. So the Amber Alert works. So we're going to go full pitch forward and full ascent now. Yeah, and there we got that warning immediately. So let's try this. Let's try full pitch forward and see what happens. So in full pitch forward, and let's see how fast we can get. Yeah, then I got it just in full pitch forward, and we are going about 10, I wonder if we, yeah, about 10.5 meters per second. I let off there. I don't want to push that. But that is kind of interesting. And there's no wind here. So one of the things DJI said, well, that's going to happen when you're flying in windy conditions, or if you have the prop cages on, which we don't have either. So let's just spin around here. Excuse me for the fast yaw. So I am going to drop some altitude again. Let's get down to about 30 meters or so. That's probably good enough. And we're going to go back into P mode. And we're going to try the same thing. So full pitch forward and full ascent. This is in P mode. Yeah, and we got it in P mode even too. So as soon as I let off the ascent, yeah, it stopped. So clearly it's how the bird draws power. Yeah, now we got it again. And I wasn't ascending, I was just in full pitch forward then. So hopefully that's something that they'll look at. You know, I got a hold of DJI and their support department, and they were very responsive. I want to say they were very, very responsive. And basically what they told me was that, the first thing they told me is, well, when you see that, land the aircraft and let it cool off. Well, trust me guys, if I have to cool it off on a day like today when it's about 50 degrees out, yeah, wait till this summer, right? Or somebody in warmer climates. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, so we're getting a low battery, 20% low battery prompt. So let's fly it out here a ways. And we're well even above the return to home height. So, should we let it? Yeah, so it's going to go into emergency return to home here. So I'm just going to stop, hands off the controls, and we're going to let it go here. There you can see me down there. Controls are very smooth on this little bird. And you'll see it raise the camera as soon as it lands here. And as you can see, I didn't even use a landing pad. We've just got a great place to take off here, lots of pavement. So I didn't see any need for a landing pad. And it's coming down pretty darn close to where it took off. So I'm thinking you'll be able to see it on the screen here. You know, that I believe is almost precisely where we took off from. So let me get the drone shut down here, and we will do a quick conclusion. Hey guys, so when we were flying over the top of the horseshoe pits, little did I know that Mr. Horseshoes, Don Titcomb, three-time world champion, this is his memorial horseshoe pitching court. Kind of cool. Never would have known that otherwise. But yeah, they're definitely horseshoe pits. It was kind of weird flying over the top of them, and you know, I just wasn't entirely sure. They've got a code of conduct. Anyway, there's the tennis courts that we were looking at, and yeah, so let's look at these other ones. Yeah, these are just regular horseshoe pits as well, over here. But boy, I'll tell you what, it's pretty clear they could have a real life tournament here if they wanted to. So let me also point out on the tennis courts here, you know, they've got grandstands set up, so I'm quite sure they probably have some tennis tournaments out here from time to time. Yeah, so these smaller courts, I was saying pickleball courts or whatever, evidently they're just smaller tennis courts. I assume that is probably for kids lessons would be my guess, why they're the smaller size. Anyway, now we know. Hey, okay, so look at this, pickleball tournament. So I was right, those smaller, look at even the Idaho senior games. I guess I qualify as a senior, but it looks like I'm too late for the tournament. But yeah, so they must play pickleball on those smaller courts. I was wondering about that. Hey guys, Marcus Crawford here again. Hey, I had to come home to do the conclusion to this video because the battery ran out in my Canon camera out in the field. I suppose you've noticed that happens to me once in a while. I honestly thought I had enough battery to get through that video, but evidently I didn't. So I didn't bring an extra battery with me. So we are doing the conclusion right here. Hey, so we took the little Mavic Mini. Just a phenomenal. You guys could probably tell I'm just kind of giddy over this little thing. I'm just having so much fun with it. So it is just a solid product, just like what you would expect from DJI. I think I've said it before, but when it's in the air and I'm flying it, I just feel like I'm flying my Mavic too. You know, it has that same kind of feel. The controls work very similar. And you know, what I'll say is the Wi-Fi is very, very solid on it. It seems to work really well. You know, I've had issues with the Paradenofi, etc., with dropouts on FPV, etc. Yeah, none of that on this guy. Seems to work really good. So out there at Settlers Park today, I thought that was kind of a fun tour. We got to look around that place, and I took some footage with my iPhone that you probably just saw, showing what all those pickleball courts and tennis courts and horseshoe pits were all about. So I just thought you guys would find that interesting, so I threw that in there. We tested out the circle mode on this thing, or orbit mode, whatever you want to call it. And I tried, you know, when we were over that one area, I tried using that tree as the center, thinking that I was going to get the drone to orbit the tree, but it didn't. It treated it as a point of interest. So I'm not sure. How do you set the radius on the thing? I don't know. Something I'll have to probably do some more investigation in and figure that out. And if any of you guys know, let me know, because what it essentially did is it flew right over the top of that tree, and it kept pointing the gimbal down at it, and then made the rest of its loop. So does it have a fixed size of the orbit? I don't know. So I'm quite sure it was operator error on my part. We'll have to look into that and figure that out. But the drone works awesome. I freaking loved taking those pictures by the American flag. That was really fun. And then testing it out and trying out the to see if we could recreate the aircraft power insufficient warning, and we were able to do that at will. So whenever I was full stick up on the pitch, full stick up on the ascent, you could create that warning in. We tried it both in sport mode and P mode, both of them. You know, I don't see it as a big deal. I'm sure DJI will come up with some kind of a software solution for it. But really, the solution is you just let off the sticks a little bit, right? So it's just like your car has a tachometer in it. The tach reminds you if you're over revving the engine. It really is the same thing with this little guy. So it's telling you, hey, you're revving it up too hard, let off the throttle a little bit. So in any case, the other thing is the issue with resetting the return to home height. You got to do that every time, I guess. That bugs me. I'd like to be able to set that and forget it, but you know, I guess it's not a bad thing to go through all of your settings every time before you fly for a little pre-flight. But on the other hand, sometimes you just want to throw the thing in the air. You're in a hurry. You know, you want to capture something real quick. So you ought to be able to set that permanently and know that, you know, it's at whatever it is. And like I said, I was set mine pretty high because I just want to make sure that I'm clearing everything. And the other thing to consider is sometimes I'll be up in the mountains or something, so you have varying terrain. You may set it at 15 meters where you're standing, but behind you there is you know, a mountain going up, and there's trees a lot higher than that. So I'm just saying I would set your return to home as high as you're comfortable with. But I guess that's about it. I really had fun flying it today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and we will see you on the next one. Mavic Mini right there. Highly recommend it. See you guys later.